don't normally do it live, normally all recorded. Anyway, quite nerve-wracking actually. Just moving all my tractors around, because every time I come back to the tractors or we move between them, it puts you in camera view behind, and all I'm getting is the back of the sheds. So I thought if I'd pull them in and forwards, it's just easier then to see what I'm doing. Anyway, right, few jobs, kind of odds and ends I'm going to do around the farm today. Technically it's an episode, if you want to call it that. I am going to do a little bit more wood chipping, keep that money going up. I'm also going to do some work here on the field in front of me, field 31. I'm going to get the weeder and start the process of getting that ready for planting. Probably depends how long I broadcast for. I might also lease the Sugarbeet harvesting equipment and harvest field $30. Just there. I'm going to need sugar beet for the pigs. I do want to buy pigs. That's the next step in the farm, or with the farm, is going to be purchasing pigs. Cows are all set, they're all good after episode 7, which has now been posted, or it's posting at the moment actually, as I'm doing this. Now, when I normally play, and I sort of jump between, but you don't see the jumps between because it's recording. Obviously, can't do that when you're live broadcasting. That was another thing I've just suddenly realised. I do have a field of corn. Ah. That is brilliant. I need as much corn as I can get my hands on for the pigs, because 50% of their feed comes from corn, so I'm going to have to do a corn harvest as well. So basically preparing for pigs, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. Firstly though, I will go to there we go. Now, as you can see, if you've watched any of my Let's Plays, if you haven't, go over, have a look on the channel. Lots of Let's Play on Lawfolds. I've got Chellington running concurrent, which I'll be switching over to probably today. Do a week of one, week of another. Goldcrest Valley's on there as well, from when 17 first came out. But anyway, that being said, you can see how the forest is depleting. I've been doing a lot of wood chipping. It's proving quite lucrative. Right, next thing then. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, carry on with the wood chipping. How much have I got? That was a full load. Brilliant. Now the price for wood chips is going up. 700 and... oh, my eyesight is terrible. It's because it's broadcasted now. The screen is actually within a screen and it's smaller. I can't actually see 700 and something. 48 is it? That is going up. Now, this is the other thing that you don't normally see when I do my episodes, because they're edited. You kind of get the start of a journey, the end of a journey, the unload. You don't often see the full journey. So this is what I found on Lawfolds. To go from here, Highland Grain, the price for wood chips is dropping, but at Aberdeen Grain it's going up, which is right the way over there. Now, rather than going on the roadway, winding backwards and forwards and all over the place, there's a shortcut. Up to the top of the map, heading north. And the gate into the fields. Now, all of these big sections of fields to the top, the north end of the map, all have double gates at the top, which means once open, we've got a nice run right the way through to Aberdeen grain. So if you're doing the wood chipping, I can either take it to Highland grain or Aberdeen grain, whichever's paying the most, relatively easily. Doing it with the lorry as well means your top speed's a lot quicker. And using the large cramp, I know I have leased the cramp trailer for the time being. I'm probably going to purchase one, but 59,000 litres at a time, it's pretty good. Like I say, the price is up at about 748, 750 pounds. I've got mine set on per 1,000 litres. I think a couple of times when I've been doing something else, it's been running over 1,000 for 1,000 litres. So the wood chipping can prove incredibly lucrative. I always tend to stay over this side. I know this trailer doesn't actually tip, but because of the roof line, some of the trailers that tip backwards catch on the roof. So I just tend to stay over to the right hand side or the left hand side, depending on which way I come in. So let's unload, see what we get. I've only moved the camera angle like this so I can see how much I get at the top. If it's on the light, that light green against the light background, you can't always see. 44,135. Excellent. I'll take that all day long. I mean, obviously I'd take a lot more if it was being offered, but that is pretty good. Now what often happens is as soon as you dump a load, price drops. Yeah, there you go. What's it gone down to? 718, 716. But the green arrow is still there, so it is climbing. Although the price has taken a little bit of a hit, the price is climbing, which is good. So the whole time when I'm doing the next load of wood chips, that price will continue to climb back up again, and the money's okay. Like I say, this is odd for me. I don't normally live stream or broadcast, and it's peculiar because all of this stuff travelling between, it's normally when I'm humming, singing, talking to family members who come barging into the room, don't realise I'm recording, that kind of thing. So as I was saying, today is probably the last day on Lawfolds for the week. That's why I thought I'd do a live stream rather than recording. That was brilliant, so busy talking. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a broadcast instead, because I was doing Chellington, then I swapped over onto this map and I wanted to run both. I didn't want to stop doing Chellington because I quite enjoy that map. So I said I would do a week of each rather than a couple of days here and a couple of days there, you know, but I'm going to kind of gauge it on what the audience think. My subscribers are going up on YouTube, and it's kind of gauged by what people want to watch, what they want to see. You know, if my viewing figures plummet, if they absolutely plummet while I'm doing Chellington, but they're really, really high while I'm doing this map, then it's a bit of a no-brainer. I'm going to kind of swap over and say to myself, well, Lawfolds is the map that people want to watch. But, you know, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go on to Chellington. Chellington should be for a week and then back onto Lawfolds for a week, etc., etc., until a new map comes out or something that's more exciting, or, you know, however it works out. Now, if I have, I don't think I have got extra in the wood chipper, when you back this up, it should put any that's stored in the wood chipper should come into the trailer and make an absolute hash of that. Don't think there's anything in there. Pretty sure there's not. I'll do. Right, wood chipper on. Oh, there is some in there, that's right. What was happening, and it's a weird one, if anyone ever has this same problem, every now and again, if you drive a vehicle close to the wood chipper, or past it or something, it starts to move of its own accord. It kind of rolls away or drives away, whichever direction it's going to go, which can be quite infuriating. And I went backwards and forwards. I came off the game, I saved it, came back in, and it kept doing it. So all I did was went on a special, because I'm playing on PlayStation, so left and right shoulder buttons, cruise control. I dropped the cruise control down to 0. So if you look at the bottom right hand corner, it's on 0. So it can't move because the cruise control set on nothing. It's not going to go anywhere. At least that's the theory. We shall see. Right. As I said in whichever episode it was, episode 6 maybe it was, might have been episode 7, on my Lawfolds farm Let's Play, I decided to buy the Scorpion King in the end. I was going to lease it again and then get enough money to buy it, and I thought, well, I'll buy it, then sort of recover the money, because I did the gold nuggets, like it or hate it, I did them, and I thought, well, the money's there, get it, use it. It's an investment, because in all honesty, when the wood chips are paying out well at £45,000 for every trailer, it's actually well worth it. So it is an investment. If you haven't watched my gameplay, my Let's Plays before, I have my cut length on 1 metre, only because when I do it like this, it just drops very neat chunks straight in, and that's going to jam up, isn't it? That's just typical. There we go, that's better. And what will happen? Why is that not? Bear with me 1 second. Is this actually, with the set on 0, has it rolled? It has, hasn't it? I just literally just said that it shouldn't do that. And what does it do? Stay there. Is that Plasti? Plasti Sobotka. You're Czech. Are you in Czechoslovakia at the moment, or in the UK, or watching from Czechoslovakia? If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, have a look. I would be all over the top. Subscribe, subscribe. Subscribe if you want to. Subscribe if you like it. Subscribe if you like what you see. I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. So, what should... That's moved again, hasn't it? I am absolutely gobsmacked. This is exactly the point I kept making. I set the cruise control at 0 so it wouldn't do this. And I don't know why he's doing it. Hasn't moved now. It's because I was watching the logging and not actually the... Has it moved away again? No. How weird. Okay. Now, what's been interesting on Lawfolds especially is that it's only been taking 2 trees, or 2 of the larger trees anyway. 2 large trees, let's go for this one over here, maybe 3 of the small ones, to fill this entire trailer. 59,000 litres with only 3 trees. So I don't know if the map maker on this one adjusted the settings, made each tree give more wood chips, I'm not too sure. Now, let's see if this rolls again. I really am baffled by this, and it's starting to be a bit irritating in all honesty. Alright, it should be there at the moment. keeping an eye on it. It's working at the moment. And what will happen is, once the trailer fills up and it's full to capacity, the wood chipper will start to absorb the wood chips. It can hold 5,000 litres in the wood chipper itself, and the conveyor belt will stop running. So that's kind of your indication that the trailer's full, if you're not paying attention to it, obviously. Let's roll in again. What is going on with this? At this rate, I'm going to have to abandon the wood chipping if this keeps rolling. And it's, like I say, the cruise control is set on 0. That should not be able to move. And the weird thing is, it seems to be proximity to the Scorpion King. So I might have to do is adjust the arm length a little bit, so I'm trying to be further away from it. Don't know if that'll work. Right, this should be, hopefully, the last tree to fill that trailer. I'll sell one more lot and then I'm going to be off to my own fields. I'm going to probably lease the Sugarbeet harvesting equipment, because I need to do harvest of Sugarbeet from field 30, so I'm getting the feed ready for buying pigs. I've got some feed in storage that you start the game with, but I'm way too far away. How frustrating this is becoming. Right, that should be better. There we go. So yes, I need Sugarbeet. I've got all the other crops, or certain amounts of them, so I need Sugarbeet to make up all of the food the pigs will need. Now at some point with this tree it should happen. That, and it should fill the trailer, and the conveyor belt will stop running even though I'm putting stuff in it. So it doesn't look like it's going to, does it? Just to be really irritating, and I'll have to do another entire tree. There you go. Nothing is going up the conveyor belt now, which means that everything I've just cut is going into the wood chipper itself, which means the trailer is full, which means I can go and do one more offload. I'm going to jump in the wood chipper, turn that off, because that's all the wood chipping I'm going to do on this broadcast. So, same thing again, over to Aberdeen Grain, because I think Aberdeen Grain is still paying the best. Yep, it's still falling at Highland Grains. And off we go. Then it will be leasing some equipment, over to field 30, Sugarbeet Harvest. Something I do need to check. Bear with me 1 second. That should be better. So if I do, obviously this is being broadcast live, but what I want to do is put it on my YouTube channel as well. So what suddenly dawned on me, as I hadn't set the record time, so I've just done that. So you may have missed off the first, I think I've done what, about 19 minutes so far I've been on there for? 18, something like that. Anyway, right, let's go and get rid of this last lot. And then on to something else. Sorry, just had to a rather important text I had to deal with. Anyway, back to the broadcast. So shortcut across the top of the map. You see now my flashing icon. Just gone across the top of fields 11, 12, 13, 14. Opened all the gates, and that will take me right from the Highland grain and the forest where I was just doing the wood chipping, right the way across the top to Aberdeen grains, where I'm hopefully going to sell my wood chip. I've noticed the delay on these gates. Only up at Aberdeen grain is quite slow. When I did one of my gameplays, let's plays, might have even been on the map tour. I hit the barriers. The barrier didn't lift at all. So it's obviously got a bit of a lag on the barrier for some reason. I don't know. Right. Last I know, the wood chips for the time being. It is 5 to 7. The light is fading. I'm going to get as much as I can get done. Not bad. 42,000. Nearly 42.5. So it's back over to the forest over by Highland Grain, and then I will be on to the next phase, which will be Sugarbeet Harvest. So I've got Sugarbeet for the pigs. I have noticed when you're broadcasting, and like I say, if you've just come on, if you've been watching for a little while, if you've just come on, if you're watching now, I don't normally broadcast, I don't normally live stream. I normally record, edit, and all the rest of that kind of thing. So it's very unusual for me to be talking constantly, but also aware of the fact that sometimes using the tricks of the editing suite you can't get away with when you're broadcasting. So you generally find you'll do a little bit where you'll have equipment you've just bought will be transported for you by the lovely gentleman at the shop. Will bring your equipment to your farm for you. Basically, you reset it. Which I suppose a lot of people do. Of course they do. It makes life a lot quicker and easier. But what I might actually do is drive new equipment over today. I don't know, we'll see. I will get this ready though for the next bit of wood chipping I do. There might actually be some still stored in the wood chipper. There we go. So there's a little bit stored in there. How much we will see. Oh, there you go, full 5,000. Right, beacons off. Engine off. Nope. Engine off. Okay. So that's wood chipping done for the time being. Like I say, I'm cutting a big old chunk out of the forest here. I've been doing a fair bit of wood chipping. I'm going to do an episode at some point where I do some logging, but that'll probably be a recorded episode, not a broadcast. So, next step then is back to the main farm, grab the case Optum, up to the store, and then lease. I'm not going to buy. Where did I put it? Oh, there is. Yeah, I'm not going to buy the Sugarbeet harvester because I'm not going to do that much Sugarbeet. In all honesty, the pigs only require 5% of their food to be root crop. I'm doing the Sugarbeet harvest to get the feed so I'm ready for the pigs. So they only use a very small amount of that at a time. So I'm not likely to do another Sugarbeet harvest, not on my own field. I might do it on contracting or the mission system. But I'm not going to do it on my own field, so it'll be a waste of money to buy the Sugarbeet harvester when I'm not going to really need it. Now, I'm not leasing the big Sugarbeet harvesting equipment, and so that's about 40 grand I think it is to lease. So I'm going to lease the stuff that goes on the tractor. Shortcut across the fields here, which is quite handy. As you can see, I'm now coming up that track. It just means you haven't got to go right out on the road, turn left, up, left again and come back on yourself. So you cut across the fields. Well, it's not across the fields, there's a track here. That's what it's for. So, up to Aberdeen Northern Marts Group, the central hub, the sell point, buy point, wool pallet point, straw selling point, or bale selling point, whichever way you want to look at it, is all here. So I've kind of called it the hub. I think you can sell manure over there as well, and your livestock as well you can buy. So what I need to do is lease Sugarbeet equipment. So beet harvesting. Now, like I say, the Holmer, whilst the Holmer is awesome, it's a lot to buy, and 54,450 to lease. That's not going to happen. Now, these are much cheaper to lease. The Grim FT300 and the Grim Rootster 604. I'm pretty sure, yeah, 1,870. I think it works out about 11,000, 12,000 altogether, something like that. 9,600 something, yeah, so. Much more palatable. I can cope with that. Right. And this now, I need to head to field 30. Now the thing with that is, I don't know, in all honesty, how to get to it. Don't know if there's a gate here maybe, or one in this corner. Have to have a look on the way back over. I'll work it out and get there, don't worry. Not that you are worried, but you know. You might be. So back the way I came, down the main road, and then I'll take the shortcut across the fields. I will then probably put the trailer on the JCB because that's my next most powerful tractor. That should have no problem pulling it. I don't know. It's this very small field 30 that I've got with Sugarbeet in that belongs to me anyway. So I'm not quite sure what the yield's going to be off of it, but we'll see. Now, if you've never watched any of my YouTube channel Let's Plays, guide tos, like how-to top tip videos, any of those before, I am a tiny bit OCD, and by tiny bit I mean massively OCD. So when I do harvesting like this, I won't miss anything. I'm terrible, I know, but will I be able to get around here? It's the only trouble. Some of the narrow lanes are really narrow, and getting in and out of the field is quite tight. I'm really not even sure how to get to this field at the moment. Go to this corner. It might be going in. Actually, I don't know. Ah, there we go. Ben Maltus, I'm fine, thank you. It's early morning. I'm up with the lark today. No, I'm not going to get round here, am I? Of course not. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? Oh no, there we go, wasn't too bad. Okay, so Sugarbeet Harvest. Should be the field directly ahead, field 30, little square one. And as I said before, this will be collecting root crop for the pigs. This hasn't got a very large capacity, so once this fills up, I'm going to go and get a tractor with a trailer to unload. So, front, lower, and turn on. Rear, lower, and turn on. Pipe out, just so I'm ready. And off we go. And I'm probably going to find I'm repeating myself a little bit, only because I don't know the kind of viewing figure at the on the right hand side of the broadcast shows how many people are watching at the moment, and I don't know whether people are dropping on, dropping off, whether it's new people watching, so you know, you might be catching it part way through, you might not. And it is unusual for me because I normally record and post my videos, so live broadcasting is a bit peculiar for me. It's a new thing. So yeah, this might take a while. But it needs to be done. My pigs need root crops ready for when I buy them. So what I generally do, I know different people do it in different ways. Some people will buy the animals so they've got them, they'll give them water, and then they'll gradually start adding to their feed. Unfortunately, as I just said, coming back from the store, I am a little bit OCD. So what I generally do is prepare for the animals first. So I'll get all the feed, get everything ready, bales, you know, whatever it is they need, then I'll buy them. So they're as productive as they can be right from the start. And I know it's mad, it's not, you know, I don't know. But in real life, you know, if you didn't have the feed to feed your animals, you wouldn't buy them and leave them in a field slowly starving while you got all the stuff together you needed for them. You would prepare it first, wouldn't you? I mean, that would kind of make sense. It does in my head anyway. No, I'm kind of just going up and down in strips, guided by the turning circle of the tractor with the harvester on it. And then what will hopefully happen is, as I do each strip, I'll then come back around. Ah, there we go. That's me full. Right, I will just come to one side. And go and get another tractor. Which actually, as it's turned out, has worked out quite well. Right, JCB. That's my next most powerful tractor. It's got 230 horsepower, so it's the 3230. I'll grab this trailer. I honestly don't know how much I'm going to get in total, but now, can I get to it from here? Or there? I don't know. Let's have a look. We might be able to. Bit of a magical mystery tour around the fields. In theory, in my head, excuse me, it should be as simple as going up to the top and cutting across the corner, and I should be at field 30. If there's a fence in the way, that's not going to happen. Ah, perfect. Right. Don't know why I put the rear work light on. That wasn't really needed, was it? Never quite sure the height of these. Doesn't like that, does it? Okay, so I'll go more to the side. Okay, there we go. That's better. Now the cramp trailer I'm using is the big body. I can't remember which one it is now. Let me just have a look. It's a mod. It was one of the mods off the mod hub. It was, yeah, the big body 900. And on the mods with this one you can choose the colour, so I went black. I don't know why. I was feeling all gothic. Right, get out of the way. Back over to the case. Okay. So I'll turn this around without going to the other crop. Yes, okay. Right, I need to go back up that strip because the last part of that strip I didn't quite catch, so make sure I harvest it all. Cruise control on, and away we go. As per usual, the animations are pretty cool on these. I do like it. Around all the various different conveyors. The chute there at the bottom. All very nice. So if you're just joining me and you don't normally, I don't normally broadcast live. If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, go over, have a look under Mr. Silly P. My Let's Plays are on there. There's FS15 stuff on there. I don't know why I'm laughing. 15, I love the game, it's brilliant. FS17 Let's Plays on Goldcrest Valley, Chellington, and currently I'm playing on Lawfolds. But today I'll be swapping back to Chellington. I do a week of each normally. So if you're new to me, Mr. Silly P, go and have a look. Some good stuff on there. I know that sounds arrogant and braggy, but I'm proud of it. I'm good at what I do. I like what I do, and people seem to like it. So, good morning, Fragdad. How are you? I was just say it's nice to have a familiar face, but obviously it's not a face at all, is it? How idiotic. But anyway. Yes, a few of my regular commenters did suggest I live streamed broadcast. I'm a bit of an old fuddy-duddy when it comes to that kind of thing. I'm okay with technology, but the thought of live broadcasting was a little bit daunting. It is daunting. With posting videos, especially when you've had time to edit and kind of get them ready. First coffee, that'd be nice. If you could come over and make me one, that'd be brilliant. On my own today. One of my children has to go to hospital for an operation today. Nothing major, just tonsils out. But we can't all go, they won't let us stay at the hospital, so my wife's gone. One of my daughters is taking them, so I thought, since I'm up early anyway, might as well have a go at a broadcast. There's no one around to interrupt me, which is what normally happens. So I have people bursting into the room, blurting things out, and then apologising profusely for interrupting me. That happens a lot. So when I'm posting my videos normally, I can edit all of that out. Honestly, if I did a blooper reel, it would be hours long. Pretty funny in some places, I have to say. But the bits you don't want to hear is probably me shouting at my children for interrupting me. Oh dear. Anyway. There we go. Now destroy my JCB in the process, that would be bad. Now, like as I said, if you're new to watching me doing this, it would have helped to actually turn on the harvester, wouldn't it? The head is still on, but the harvester's not. You can't be on and unloading at the same time, can it? Obviously. There we go, that's better. I've got 5. Mind you, I mean they're all older. They're all teenagers. Well, my eldest isn't a teenager anymore. She's a bit older than that. But yeah, it's a house full. It really is. Sometimes you catch bits on my videos, sometimes I miss bits and you'll hear noises or talking and things in the background. If you're ever puzzled and wonder what it is, it's probably my kids. Or my wife, she's good at that. I love the fact that people will come into the room and they'll burst in while you're recording, speaking, and then rather than just stop talking and walk out, they'll then apologise but whispering. So yeah, I can still hear you. And it's still recording, so it's all going to be picked up. But anyway, like I say, it's nice and quiet today in the house. So at the moment, no one's going to burst in. But that said, my eldest is on her way home from dropping my daughter and my wife at the hospital, so she'll be home soon. So I'm sure she'll burst in the front door talking. So if my broadcast ends abruptly, that'll be why. Anyway, as I was saying, I digress. This is the thing with broadcasting. You've got to talk a lot. Otherwise, it's people just sitting, watching. Which, I mean, that's the whole point of it, I guess, isn't it? But anyway. Yeah, if you're just joining me, I am Sugarbeet harvesting on my own field, on field 30 on Lawfolds. I am collecting all this up for the pigs. I'm preparing to buy pigs. I've got sheep on the last 2 episodes, although I just had a little notification popped up on my screen saying that episode 7 of Lawfolds, which I'm uploading, has failed to upload, and that could be because I'm live broadcasting at the moment as well. It won't let it, I'm not too sure. That was all about cows, preparing for the cows, and as I just said, my daughter's just coming in. Bear with me 1 second. I'm back. She's back. And what's even better is she just offered to make me a coffee. So there you go, first coffee of the morning. Brilliant. So anyway, as I was saying, yes, I'm preparing for the pigs. Cows are all done. I did those on episodes 6 and 7. 7, which is kind of uploading at the moment, had all sorts of comments left. Fragdad, who is possibly one of the most helpful people that I've had, and I did mention on, I think it was episode 6, a few of the guys that do come on regularly and comment and help out. I don't get that many negative comments. Generally speaking, they're all pretty positive, and people offering advice. And one of the reasons I started doing the channel was pretty much when I started out, I only started playing on 15, and I didn't know how to do stuff. Being on PS4, didn't have modded maps, didn't have mods, didn't have all the stuff that PC gamers had. So it was just a case of looking online for how to do things and watching different people's YouTube clips, and and then I kind of got to a point I was thinking, well, you know what, I could do that. Not cocky or arrogant, I could do that better than they're doing it, but it was just kind of thinking, well, if I wanted to know how to do this, how would I word it, how would I say it, how would I show somebody? So I just kind of had a go. I suppose how most people start out, and then the kind of YouTube channel thing started to grow a little bit from there. But the guys, they come on a lot and comment and help out, and I think everyone ends up feeling they're in the same boat quite a lot. You make mistakes, you do things wrong, you do something thinking it's going to work out one way and it doesn't, and if there are people out there who have done it or haven't done it, or they'll help you out and give you advice. By you doing your video, you're kind of helping them out, hopefully. I mean, generally speaking, people comment quite positively saying thank you, it's been helpful, you know, whatever it might be. That's the reason. And bottom line of it is I love playing the game. At the end of the day, it's great. It's good fun. I know it kind of sounds weird, but in a very hectic, busy life that most people generally lead these days, having a bit of time where you can zone things out is incredibly important. And I think, you know, lots of companies, businesses, all these kind of things are all doing this whole mindfulness thing at the moment. You know, it's the big buzzword at the moment, mindfulness. And that's just about taking time to concentrate on the moment and, you know, blah blah blah. And in all honesty, this does this. For me, coming on and playing this, you focus on what you're doing. You're focusing on what you're doing at that moment. You're focusing on, you know, whatever crop you're doing, whether you're baling, whether you're cutting grass, whatever you're doing, you're focused on that. And you do kind of zone stuff out. You know, the world outside melts away. And I kind of guess that's what gaming's for generally anyway. But I often find a lot of different gameplay series, whichever game, not Farming Simulator, but other games. You know, I've played Call of Duty for years, and, you know, I started out, showing my age now, with Sega Mega Drives and Nintendo Cubes and that kind of stuff. Had a PlayStation 1. One of my favourite games in that was Toka Touring Car, which when you look back at it now, the graphics are horrific. But loved it, absolutely loved it. That was, you know, that's what I did. Love racing games. Played Gran Turismo, various different versions right away from the first one. Gran Turismo 6 on PS4 I had nothing but trouble with. I don't know why. It kept playing up, kept glitching, wouldn't load. So I was really hoping... No, not on PS4. Was it PS4 or PS3? Or whichever. I was hoping for a new version to come out, which obviously hasn't yet. And then I found Farming Simulator, and I'm just absolutely hooked. Absolutely hooked. My wife bought me Call of Duty Infinite Warfare for Christmas, which I played a little bit of with my daughter, who comes on every now and again and does a bit of... well, on FS15 she did a lot of multiplayer with me, and people keep asking me, do multiplayer. And again, it's like doing this live broadcasting. I'm incredibly nervous. I don't know why, it's ridiculous really. Incredibly nervous to do multiplayer. On PS4 it's only, what, up to 8 players, is it? 6, 8, something like that you can have on there at any one time. But it kind of leaves you a bit exposed. I guess when you're doing videos and you're editing them, you're doing it how you want people to see it. When you're broadcasting live like this, or you're playing multiplayer, you are left a bit more kind of exposed. I don't know. I probably will. I'll build up to it. Anyway, as I said, if you follow my YouTube channel, on episode 6 of Lawfolds Farm, I did mention the guys, and I will keep coming back to it, the guys that comment regularly. My channel is it's really going well. I cannot thank anyone that's viewing, anyone that views, anyone that's viewing, anyone that's subscribed, the guys that regularly comment and help me out. You know, it's all down to you guys. It's amazing, it really is. You know, I'm a kind of, like I said, obsessive compulsive. I'm a collector of things. You know, it's one of those, if I do something, I do it obsessively. You know, if I play a game, I will play it for hours and hours and hours and hours. If it's a game where you've got to collect things, where you know, whether it's trophies or whatever, I will play it until I've collected everything. Very fastidious about that kind of thing. And it's the same with this. I you know, but I do find it incredibly relaxing. You know, on Christmas Eve, I think it was, whichever one it was, on Chellington, I did the Mammoth Harvest, where I started off. My wife was organising stuff for Christmas Day, and the kids were all doing things, and I thought, I'll put the game on. Jumped on to do a contracting job and didn't really pay much attention, and clicked on it, and it was Sugarbeet harvesting, or was it potato harvesting, whichever one it was, on the big field on Chellington, field 17 I think it was. And when you actually worked out the minutes, it worked out it was going to be 11 hours it was going to take to harvest the field. Yeah, so the thing about that is that doing the contracting jobs, generally speaking, I found on all of them you can do it in about half the time it gives you. But even then I thought, well, that's a good 5.5 hours of harvesting. That's mad, you know. But I carried on anyway. I did do it in chunks, I'll be honest with you. I kept pausing the gameplay. I would go off and help out, do a few bits towards Christmas and come back, do a little bit more, go away, come back. So that kind of 5.5 hour harvest, didn't mean to go across there. Anyway, that 5.5 hour harvest took me about 7 or 8 hours over the course of the day, but I actually did it a lot quicker than I thought I was going to. The only thing I was gutted about, the payout was not great. I think it was 300 and something or 300 and something thousand, I think it worked out at. Turn that on, and should we just go? But the time bonus was shocking, considering the amount of time I'd spent on it. Yeah, not good. You probably will notice as well, if you are watching this with me, I can talk. Christ, I can talk. Sorry for that. And if you've kind of picked up on bits and bobs off of Goldcrest Valley and stuff like that, I am a teacher in the UK. I work in a school. I teach. I'm used to talking. I'm used to standing up. I'm used to, you know, presenting, I think is probably the best way of putting it. So it's not that I like the sound of my own voice. I'm just used to the sound of my own voice. It's what I do. But what I often do as well, and that's probably age. What is age? I just did it again, Nico. I'm just saying, what probably it is when it comes with age is I talk, probably ramble. You're probably thinking, well, you're actually rambling, mate, you're not talking. And I forget, by the end of what I was talking about, I get sidetracked and I talk about something else, and I forget what it was I was actually talking about in the first place. So forgive me if I get part way through a thought process and you then think, well, hang on, you didn't actually explain what you started off explaining. That's probably why. So if I do that, I apologise. Anyway, this harvest is going really well. I'm not really focusing on the game, am I? I'm just chatting. This is yielding way more than I thought it was going to. That trailer is 46,900 litres, I think it is. And this is what I've done, 4 or 5 offloads. So yeah, it's going well. And the pigs aren't going to get through half of this. This is a huge amount of sugar beet. And when you look on the map, this is a tiny field. But when you actually get down to the field, it's not that small. I think when I did Chellington, I partitioned off field 6, and I had a tiny bit of it for sugar beet. And that's all you really need. If you're going to do it for your livestock, like I say, the pigs only require 5% of their feed to be root crops, and that's a tiny amount, tiny amount. Unless, well, that went a bit laggy. Unless you're going to get into the sort of hundreds with your animals, your livestock, and then yeah, you're going to need more root crops, obviously. But this is a lot, so I'm not sure, and I'm also not sure where I'm going to dump it. Don't know. So like I say, when I'm the difference in broadcasting and recording normally, there we go, another full one, it's difficult. I should have lifted that every time, should have been a lot quicker, because a lot of the jobs, they take a long time. They do. When you harvest a field, you know, with the power of editing, you can make a hour and a half long harvest on a field take 5 minutes. You know, you cut out all the boring bits, you show the start, show the end, and people are happy. When you're broadcasting, it's a whole different ball game. People aren't necessarily going to want to sit and watch you do a Sugarbeet harvest for 45 minutes. So that's where the rambling comes in. So if you feel like you want to watch a bit, go away, come back. You know, absolutely. Drop in, drop out. I think it's what most people would do. You get to the boring bits, you skip them, don't you? That's kind of life. Right, lower that. Rear one. Turn it on. Right, I'm going to mop up these last bits. But I'm nearly there. I'm going to buy the weeder, the Einbock weeder. That has proved really, really useful straight after I've harvested. That's a good point, Fragdad. Actually, I do. Yeah, the whole multiplayer thing. It's a good idea. Inviting friends first, and then just kind of get used to doing it. You know, I did get sidetracked, didn't I? I was saying, yeah, my I have to say, I think gamers generally, if you're a gamer, you know, I don't know, it's a generic term, isn't it? But old gamers, you know, you've got your hardcore, absolute, you know, people do it for a living, it's their job, you know, they play games. You've got your people that play, you know, when they've got a bit of time, they've got a console. I would have to say the amount of hours I've probably put into games over the years, but this as well, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But yeah, my daughter, she's got a YouTube channel. She doesn't put much on it. She's much younger than my other children, but Moomin Seal. And on 15, that's what I started off saying, on 15 she used to come on and we did a few multiplayer episodes, just me and her, and you know what, I just had an absolute crack, she was hilarious. She loves playing the game, she's obsessed with New Holland tractors, she just played and loved it, and you know, so when 17 came out, it got quite expensive for me, only because I knew how much she loved playing it. So when I got the kind of premium edition for myself and pre-ordered it, ready to download and all, you know, all the rest of it, as soon as they put on there that PS4 were going to get the New Holland T7 Blue Power, that is absolutely her favourite tractor in the entire world. I thought, well, I've got to buy a copy of it for her. I can't not get her a copy of it. So she plays, she loves playing it. However, and this is the weird thing, since I've started playing on FS17 and my channel's grown and more people are viewing, you know, in all honesty, on FS15 I had 10 subscribers. My videos were getting 6 or 7 views. I wasn't really doing it. In all honesty, I wasn't doing it for the views. I was doing it because I enjoyed playing. I was kind of getting used to editing, getting used to the videos, and you know, that kind of thing. That looks like it could be done. Let's lift that. Wrong button. Lift that. Let's just whiz around the field, just make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, my viewing figures were horrific. No one was watching, no one really cared, you know. I found I was recording and talking to myself. Really, I was talking to myself. I started playing on 17 and a few people started watching. My Goldcrest Valley Let's Play went down okay. It would, you know, I think some of my videos were getting 50, 60 views, you know. Nothing massive, nothing huge. But then, for some reason, when I switched onto Chellington, I started getting more subscribers, more views. It went up a little bit. Then I decided it was between Colborough Park Farm and Lawfolds. I opted for Lawfolds. In all honesty, I opted for Lawfolds because quite a few people were doing Colborough Park Farm already. There are people obviously doing Lawfolds as well. And I've said this before as well, I make no bones about the fact that I subscribe to and follow Daggerwin. Like it or hate it, like him or hate him, whatever. Or however your view is. I started watching FS15 YouTube clips on... It was his channel. I'm getting sidetracked again, aren't I? What do I want to do? Pipe in. This equipment will go back because I'm not going to need it again. I only leased it to do this, which seems extravagant, but I need it for the pigs. Anyway, on my way back I will continue to talk. Is it Bakes TV made his live stream on this. 9,500 views so far. Whoa. If I could get into viewing figures like that, I would be absolutely over the moon. Like I say, my viewing figures are increasing. Absolutely. My subscribers are increasing. I'm not going to get round to, am I? I might do. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. The last week alone, switching over from Chellington to Lawfolds, it's gone crazy. It absolutely has gone mad. Now, my concern is, this weekend where I swap back to Chellington, do a week on Chellington, that my viewing figures and it's going to drop. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, that was brilliant. Well done. Mind the fence post. I don't know. It might do. It might not. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, I started watching Daggerwin's Let's Plays with my daughter, and over the summer holidays last year, because being a teacher I was off, and we played and played and played, and then we'd sit up till God knows what time in the morning watching. I think I probably watched all of his videos, all of his Let's Plays. I went back and watched everything that was on there. Just fascinated. The first Let's Play I watched of his was Knaveswell. Not Knaveswell Extended, but the original one, the small one. I so desperately would love that map to come out on here, but anyway. And just absolutely brilliant. Love Dagwin, love his videos, love what he does. And I know it sounds awful, and I don't even consider myself to be in the same league. You know, he's up to something like, God, knocking on 200,000 subscribers or more now. I mean, really, really big numbers. That he was swapping from his Let's Play that he was on at the time, which I can't for the life of me remember which one it was he was running, and I was literally, honestly, sitting here thinking, right, Colborough Park Farm. I did the first look. I've got the I did the first look video on Colborough Park Farm 17 for PS4, and Bullet Bill 83, the map maker, commented and said he liked the map tour and it was really good. You know, I was absolutely over the moon. So in my head, Colborough Park Farm, that's what I was going to do. Then Lawfolds came out, and I did the first look map tour on Lawfolds, and I was really, really torn. Do I do Colborough Park Farm? Do I do Lawfolds? That day that I was making my decision, Daggerwin posted his first video, and he'd swapped over and started doing a Let's Play on Colborough Park Farm. So I thought, you know what, I won't do Colborough Park Farm. There's a few people doing it. I'll do Lawfolds, and it's taken off. I don't know why. It's gone, yeah, really a bit mad. So anyway, I digress again. Let's get rid of this. So go into here, go into My Machinery, Leased. I'm going to return that. Going to return that. Right. At some point I'm going to buy one of those because I'm using it a huge amount. At the moment it's leased. And to be fair, when the lease renews, it doesn't cost me a huge amount of money. It's not too bad at all. That as well, I may buy one of those. I probably will actually, yeah. And maybe even that too. So once I've built up a bit ahead of money again, I'm probably going to buy all three of those. But for the time being, I'm going to carry on leasing, which is no major problem. Right, so next purchase for the farm, and while I'm over here with the tractor, I might as well grab it, is the weeder. I'm going to go with the Einbach Aerostar Rotation 1200. Not hugely expensive, but I've got a couple of fields now that need this. Field 31 and the field I just did, field 30. I'm going to go over the weeder. So as I was saying, yeah, what I normally do is go over the weeder straight after harvesting, which gives me my first fertilising state. Then I normally cultivate, and I can go over it again with this. It won't let me set a worker. For some reason, if you try and use it a second time, I suppose because you're not supposed to, it wouldn't let me use a worker to do it, which was a bit odd, but anyway. Didn't check the other way, never mind. And then I seed, and in the first growth stage go over the weeder again, and then that's my third fertilising state done. My seeders, I try and go for ones that fertilise at the same time. And I know I will get all sorts of comments, people saying you're better off doing it this way, that way, I do this, I don't, and, you know, absolutely. And I said before, it's horses for courses. You can slurry inject, you can manure spread, you can weed, you can use the concrete rollers, you can use fertiliser sprayers, spreaders. You can do it in first growth stage, second growth stage. People are saying you can use the weeder on all the growth stages. You know, however you choose to do it, you know, everyone will do it slightly differently depending on what their style is, what they think, what they feel. You know, that's part and parcel of playing the game. That's what's so great about it. There is so much available, so much variation in what you can do. You can choose to do absolutely anything you want, which is great. That's why I like it. I like the fact on FS17 you've got so much customization available on all the tractors, because before you were kind of stuck. You had low-end tractors, you had mid-range tractors, you had your top-end tractors, and you had a few in each of those categories. So you would kind of generally go for a smaller one for shunting around the yard, a mid-range one for a bit of moving around and stuff, and then your bigger tractors for doing your bigger jobs with bigger machinery. This is brilliant. You've got so much more that you can change. Frank Dad, I've got the hall, stairs and landing to decorate today. Oh, lucky you. Blimey. I mean, in all honesty, I've probably got an absolute ton of jobs I should be doing and should be getting on with. It's the beauty of having my kids all as teenagers. They do all help out, and help out around the house with a lot of the day-to-day running of the house, jobs type things. And as I've said to my wife numerous times, you haven't got to keep asking me, you know. Don't keep reminding me every 6 months to do a job. It will get done. And they do get done. They really do. And when I do them, they're perfect. Just takes a while to get around to doing it, let's be honest. In all honesty, if you're incredibly lucky, like I am. Now, as I go over this should now go darker. It's hard to tell with this ground state, isn't it? I will cultivate after this as well. But if I just quickly look on the map and go to field 30, which is down here, and now go to soil composition. There we go. So, first fertilising state is now being achieved, taking the weeder over. Brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted. Then I'll come back, I'll cultivate it, and what I can do, because it's a small field, I can drive over it again with the weeder myself. If I try and set a worker, it won't always do it. If I set a worker now, actually, hire a worker, he should carry on and do this for me, which will be brilliant. Or he's just going to sit there. That worked well. Completed his task. No, he hasn't. Don't be an idiot. Of course he hasn't. Right, okay. Let's try this again, shall we? That's interesting. Okay. Not a problem. I'll just do it myself. Yeah, my wife, she's golden. Absolutely. You know, once the YouTube channel thing started to take off a little bit, and it's like I say, it's by no means is it in the realms of thousands of subscribers and thousands of views. You know, I watch different people's videos and see that, you know, within an hour of posting they've had 5,000 views. God, I can only imagine, I can only dream of having those kind of viewing figures. It would be amazing, absolutely amazing. And I said this before, way back when. Moss Frog, excellent. Another one of my regulars. It's going well, thank you very much, Moss Frog. Hope you're well too. I've lost my thread now. See what I mean? It's old age. Just go to pieces. I'm sure it will come back to me at some point. Never mind. Oh yeah, the YouTube channel. Yeah, a friend of my daughter's. I've said this before, way back when. He goes under the name Mr. Dalek JD, I think it is, and he does mostly Call of Duty videos. He's got something like 150,000, no, 1.5 million. Oh, it's a colossal amount of subscribers. Might be 1.5 million, I think. 1.5 million subscribers. He's a lad I've known since he was a little kid, and just insane. He goes to gaming conventions all over the world, all expenses paid. You know, he's a good lad, and you know, brilliant. So, you know, if I can get into that, you know, at any point, I do this because I enjoy it. I really, genuinely love playing the game. Some people will start YouTubing because they see dollar signs, pound signs. It's like, I want to make money, I want to make money. You know, if you're lucky, and there are a few people out there that get lucky, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, there's a don't get me wrong, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of hard work, and people say, oh, you don't know what hard work is. You're absolutely right. You know, there are manual labour jobs out there. There are jobs out there where people genuinely are working hard. Gaming isn't hard work. Gaming is fun. You know, at the end of the day, it's brilliant. If you can make a bit of money doing it, then that, you know, that's... Sorry, I keep pausing every now and again. I'm getting messages popping up in the right-hand side of my... KTM for life, hi, hello. Yeah, so I keep getting distracted because I keep getting messages popping up in the corner. Now, lift that. I'm going to take this over to field 31 because I need to do the same over there. Yeah, and so I do it because I enjoy doing it. It's fun and all the rest of it. So as far as kind of hard work goes, you can put on a game, you can play it, you can enjoy playing it. I honestly didn't realise when I started doing the YouTubing thing, I started editing, the editing thing takes a bit of getting used to. Filming, playing the game and filming to edit, it changes your entire gameplay style, because the whole time you're doing it, you're thinking about how it will look when it's edited. What do I need to try and do? What kind of camera angles? What will people be interested in seeing? And also, when you've got your headset on or your mic set up, and what are you saying when you're doing it? When I first started out, I was incredibly quiet. You know, I wasn't really saying a lot. And I've got a bit more confident, and I talk a lot more, and I'm explaining a lot more what I'm doing. The knock-on effect of that is I spend a lot of my life now walking around the house doing things, narrating what I'm doing, constantly telling the whole world what I'm doing. Nobody cares what I'm doing most of the time, but I'm finding myself saying what I'm doing because I've got used to doing it. I'm doing it on here so much of the time now. I'm explaining what I'm doing. Saying that, I am weeding field 31. This was the first field I harvested when I started on Lawfolds, and as Fragdad said, Lawfold is a really good map. It is. I really do like this. It's got a bit of everything. Yeah, it's great. It's a good map. And then for the kind of the editing thing, you Well, I say it's not hard work, it's time consuming. You know, you're sitting down and you're, you know, using a controller or a keyboard or whatever you're doing. But you really do have to plan ahead. You have to do a lot more, you know. I don't know whether that's just me, because of the way I am, you know, that kind of OCD thing. No, don't get me wrong, absolutely no, I'm not. KTM for life. That's what I said right at the start. I absolutely, there are, you know, gaming is not hard work. Gaming is not hard work. When I say it's hard work, I mean it's time consuming, alright? It is a time consuming thing to do. It's not hard work by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I've got friends that do all kinds of jobs. You know, the job I do, teaching, it's stressful. It's not hard, it's not physical, it's not a manual job, it's not hard labour, you know. I've got friends that are in the military, I've got friends that do, you know, policemen, firemen, nurses, you know, God, they're hard jobs, you know, and jobs that are labour intensive. A friend of my wife's a long distance lorry driver all over Europe. It's hardly ever at home, you know. Gaming is not even in the same league, don't get me wrong. When I said it's hard, it's not like that at all. It's fun to do, it's easy, it's time consuming. It's probably the best way to describe it. It's a time consuming thing to do, and to make Aussie trucker, whoa, so you do the big kind of land train type stuff. I am a teacher, yeah, for my sins, but so like land train type trucks, big journeys across, I mean, I don't know, I suppose there are truckers that do normal truck driving around cities and stuff, but whenever you see it on the TV and stuff, you know, your Aussie truck drivers, the guys that are travelling thousands of miles across the country. Thanks for coming in and watching. This is what I think is so cool about doing all this. You know, you're talking to them, not meeting people, but, you know, I suppose you are technically, from all around the world. Whoa, okay. Full trade, wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what's so absolutely amazing about doing this. KTM for life. He hauls 4 trailers with a Kenworth 1908, 1908, however you say it. Wow, okay. That's awesome stuff, isn't it? I mean, that's proper work. proper work. In what I can only assume, and again, it's down to what you see on the TV, which isn't always strictly accurate. It's a harsh environment. It's, you know, I'm sitting on my sofa playing a game, you know. This isn't my real job, this is what I've done on the side. And yes, Frank, Dad Jobs, you're right, it's all relative. Build it and they will come. I hope so. Wow. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm reading the comments. Like I said, if you're just joining me, I haven't done this before, broadcasting. This is the first time. So it's all like I said, when you're trying to get ready and prepare a video and edit it, and you're thinking ahead, and you know, it's you're trying to think of multiple things at the same time, but you've got time to. You can pause it, you can stop, you can think about what you're going to do next, you can work out how you're going to edit it and all the rest of it. When you're live streaming or broadcasting, you've got to think on your feet, and it is, yeah, multitasking in so much as I'm kind of trying to play, trying to do the game, trying to talk, and then also trying to keep an eye on the messages that are popping up and that kind of thing. That's very true, Frank, Dad. I have to say, it's there's a saying my dad always used to say. I suppose it's, you know, it's one of those common sayings you get all over the place. You can get it right 1,000,000 times, and people don't notice because you're getting it right. You get it wrong once, oh blimey, people do not forget it. Mud sticks. Yeah. It's a real eye-opener, actually. Interesting enough, you know, I don't always like to kind of go on about myself. At the end of the day, it's about the gaming. I started off life as a postman. I was a postman for 17 years, and took redundancy a while back and kind of fell into teaching by accident, really. I just started off helping down my local school where my kids went, and then kind of went from there. I never in a million years thought I'd be doing this. If anyone said 10 years ago you'd be teaching, never thought I would be. Now I look back and think, why didn't I do it sooner? I love it. It's a brilliant, brilliant job. You have good days and bad days. I mean, really, you know, on a bad day, it's a bad day. But the good days are great. My wife said to me years ago, I've got twin daughters. I've got 5 kids, but I've got twin daughters mixed in with there. For the first, I don't know, probably 3 months of their lives, we didn't sleep. I mean, literally did not sleep. If you weren't feeding one of them, you were feeding the other one. If you weren't doing that, you were preparing. I mean, literally didn't sleep. And my wife said to me, you know what? The first time they grip your hand, the first time they smile at you, the first time they say something, it makes it all worthwhile. And strangely enough, you know, teaching's very much like that, I've found, in that you can have a horrible day, you can have, you know, you might even have a horrible week. You might be doing something and you think, you know what, it's just not working. And you might have a class of 30 kids, you know. If one of them learns something, if one of them gets it, if one of them turns around and says, that was brilliant, I loved it, I found out something I didn't know before, you've made a difference. It means it was all worth it, you know. Small steps. You're not going to change 30 children's lives all the time, every day. It just doesn't work that way. But it is incredibly fulfilling, you know. It is. When somebody comes and says to you, I didn't know that before, now I do, thank you for helping me, thank you for teaching me, thank you for looking after, you know, it's brilliant. But like anything, you know, there are always the ups and downs. But anyway, I digress. Farming. This broadcasting thing's terrible. I'm getting sidetracked and I'm just finding I'm talking about stuff. Anyway, what am I doing? You too, KTM, look after yourself. Yeah, what am I doing? Field 31, I am weeding. I was actually going to prepare this for putting a corn crop in, but to my left I have a corn crop, so I don't actually need to. I'm going to harvest the corn crop because I'm going to need corn for the pigs, because 50% of their feed is going to come from the corn. This field, not sure, might put soybean in. Soybean is still the most lucrative crop you can put in. To start off with, the crops I'm going to be looking at and the crops I'm going to be doing are going to be based solely upon what feed I need for the pigs to get them up and running, and to give me money to buy whatever machinery and equipment and stuff I need to carry on, which is kind of the point, really. I want to invest in another harvester at some point, or a bigger harvester, don't know, another one, bigger one, don't know. And I want to increase my livestock. Sheep aren't producing nearly quickly enough. The amount of money you can make on, especially on Lawfolds, for wool is really, really high. You know what, Musfrog, you're not the only person that's asked that. Would I be able to do a multiplayer episode? Yeah, absolutely. I probably would be able to do a multiplayer. There's a guy, Alan, who I've mentioned a few times. and on PlayStation his username is SandersFan, I think it is, has asked me repeatedly about doing multiplayer. And he's very subtle and he's very friendly. He's not at all aggressive about it, and you know, he'll drop nice subtle hints and say, you know, that would make, this would make a good multiplayer map, or you know, I could help out. And I absolutely agree. But as I said earlier, before some of you came on or appeared on, and Frank Dad mentioned, just invite people. I might do. I'm considering it now. Actually, I really am considering doing a multiplayer. Up until now, I've been really holding off on doing it. Incredibly, like I said, incredibly nervous. I don't know. Why am I nervous? I don't know. I did mention to SandersFan, and he kind of took the mick out. It was outrageous. It was. No, it wasn't outrageous at all. I said my only kind of overriding thing is, I know it's awful, because of my OCD, because I'm very kind of, there's a certain way I want to do things and an idea in my head of where I want to go. I don't know if multiplayer, I would be able to cope with the fact that people are doing stuff all over the place and not being in control of that. I know that sounds awful, doesn't it? That sounds terrible. But that would kind of be in my head. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I would get used to it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would. I mean, in all honesty, the whole broadcasting thing, I sat this morning, turned on the PlayStation and thought, right, I'm going to record episode 8 on Lawfolds. That's what I'm going to do this morning. And then I thought, well, why don't I make episode 8 a broadcast? You know, and I sat and I ummed and ahed and thought, well, I don't know, shall I? I am actually quite enjoying doing it. It's interesting. Now, the only thing I don't know, as this is broadcasting live, I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to kind of hit that record button so it records it so I can post the live stream onto my YouTube channel, or whether or not it automatically does. That I don't know. So if anyone does know, that's a good point, Musrog. I do. I think, yeah, setting up some ground rules if you're going to do multiplayer. I know Daggerwin plays on PC, and he's had a lot of trouble with his multiplayer. He's actually got a separate server that he does his on, and he had a lot of trouble. He didn't on 15 so much, but on 17 he's had a lot of trouble with people trolling on his multiplayer and messing things up, and you know, generally causing him a lot of grief. And I think he just released a video a day or so ago about new rules for the multiplayer page channel. So yeah, setting up a set of rules, that would be a good idea. Actually, it would make sense, wouldn't it? So that's the only other downside to it, and it's not, you know, there's an element of me making excuses, but there's an element of it where when I'm filming an episode, I can do it in little chunks, and I'll often set my record chunks on about 5 minutes, and I will record in 5-minute bursts. It's very unusual for me to record a big chunk of an episode and then edit it. I normally do it in small little chunks and edit it all together. In that way, if I do get interrupted, if I do have to go out and do something, if I do have to suddenly nip off, I can do that without it being a problem. The only downside with multiplayer is I don't often have a big chunk of time that I can sit and do a multiplayer where I know I'm not going to be interrupted, where I know I can play for a set period of time uninterrupted, if that makes sense. So if I'm going to do it, I think what I'm going to have to do is even probably set a set of ground rules for here at home for doing it. Mossrog, are you a PC player? I assume if you on his server. Okay. Yeah, it's difficult. I can imagine if you've got your own server running, especially if you're paying for server space, and you know you're having. He did say when FS17 came out, he was having massive amounts of problems with the server, kept crashing, and it really wasn't working well at all. Obviously, PlayStation, you're given the, you go on multiplayer. You don't have your own server. You just go on. So I'll have to have a look at that. I don't even know if did I finish off my thought process when I was saying about my daughter. Yeah, on FS17. Oh, okay, right. For some reason, she will not do a multiplayer with me on 17. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because before she would come on, she would chat, we'd do whatever, we'd record, and I think some of my better videos on 15 were my multiplayers with my daughter, because I was a lot more relaxed. It was more we were just having fun, and then I kind of edited it together, and it all really worked really well. I think she's a little bit nervous in so much as because the channel, I've got more subscribers now, and more people are actually watching my videos. She's really terrified, Now that, isn't it amazing? Jobs that you do that can take forever, that you find really monotonous, when you're talking constantly, they're not at all. So, field 31 and 30, I now have my first fertiliser state. They have both been weeded. They are now ready to be cultivated. Fold this up, find a home for it. It is now on the game time. Nearly 10 past 8. Real time? What time is it here? 9 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, guys, and I really do mean unfortunately, I do have to go. I've got a few jobs to do this morning. I might come back on later. I do need to record. Yeah, Frag Dad, you're right. You do need a lot of sheep. I'm gonna buy some more. I'm gonna carry on doing a bit of wood chipping. I'm gonna buy some more sheep. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm gonna have to go. I've got stuff I've got to do. I didn't realise it was 9 o'clock already. 10 past 8 on the game. 9 o'clock in the morning, real time here. I have got a few things to do. I have now been broadcasting for 1 hour and 37 minutes. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the chat, me waffling on and saying all sorts of nonsense. But anyway, if you've liked it, give us a like. If you don't subscribe to my channel, go over, have a look. If you want to leave a comment, people have been commenting already, fantastic. And if you want to share it, I don't know how this is going to work, whether you can or not. I'm going to try and hit the record button in a second, and then maybe put it on the YouTube channel if it's not already on there. Mossrog, nice speaking to you. Fragdad, same with you. I know we kind of message quite a lot on the videos themselves, but it's nice kind of having a live stream on there. Thanks a lot, guys. Nice to chat to you. Whatever you should do, see what I mean? When you record it yourself, you can edit out all the silly mistakes, all the bits where you whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.